Hi everyone, and welcome to our another getting to know our members, part of Hidden Treasures, and as part of Black History Month. Today I have with me Irene. Welcome, Irene.
Welcome. Thank you, Matt.
And tell me and everybody else here, uh, tell us about you.
Well, my name is Irene Bonsu Nekwe. I come from Ghana, West Africa. My father was a Ga, my mom a Fanti, my Ga from Accra, and my mom from Fanti, the Western region. But we lived in Kumasi, the Ashanti region. My father was a health superintendent with the council, the Kumasi City Council, and my mom was a nurse midwife. I'm the fifth of 7 children, and I'm a nurse by profession and retired at the moment. And I will tell you why I became a nurse in a minute.
Fantastic, Irene. That sounds really good. And did you say that you was one of 7?
No, I am the fifth of 7. Yeah, one of 7.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. That's a lot. And just for those who don't know Ghana much, whereabouts is Kumasi in Ghana?
Kumasi is the Ashanti region of
Mm,
Ghana. Yeah, they
mm.
are the Ashantis. And Accra, I think it might be well, to be frank, to be specific, Accra, I know, is south, and Kumasi is somewhere in the middle of Accra, of Ghana. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and because a few years ago, it's more than a few years ago, I went to Ghana and I actually preferred Banku to Fufu. What do
Uh,
you prefer? What do you like, Irene?
well, my look, my Accra people, we like banku. It's a staple food.
Yeah.
Banku and okra soup,
Oh, yeah.
okra stew, or okra
Mm.
soup, or tilapia, grilled tilapia and hot pepper, plus the fried pepper, the black pepper
Mm.
seasoned. Yeah. So that's my staple food, really. And kinky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I went there, I absolutely loved it. And there's a picture of my Facebook page where I'm eating Banku, and I'll put it on here, and it's
Yeah.
all over my face. I'll put it on a picture of on this for people to see later on. And there's me, and I've got orchestra all over my face, and I'm starting to eat it with 2 hands, and it says 1 hand, 1 hand. So I'll put a picture up on here to embarrass everybody. But food is a good way, isn't it, Irene, for people
Yes,
to get to
yes,
know each of his traditions?
yeah. I remember when my children were young, when they were eating banku and okra soup, we have to put some apron on them, napkins and things and that. But I did it without any problem, any issues at all. But they've learned and now they know how to handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yes.
And so we're looking at hidden treasures, and as part of Black History Month, getting to know our members, particularly our ladies, as the theme this year is our champions, our women, remembering our women through Black History Month. And you briefly mentioned about nursing, and I wondered, Irene, if you could tell people about, a bit about your story, what you did, how did you come to nursing, and where you are now?
In fact, because my mom was a nurse midwife, she persuaded my elder sisters to go into nursing, but none of them, uh, complied. And so I think my mom was a bit sad, and I'm the youngest of the girls, and so well, I wanted to be a dentist, but my mom said to me, Irene, do be a nurse for me. If you do it passionately, it can take you to heaven. And when my mom said that, my mom was a local preacher. She was evangelist even in her young days. And so when she said that, it really touched me. And I said, who doesn't want to go to heaven? I'll be a nurse. And in fact, I did it with passion. I'm
Mm,
not boasting. Yeah, if I boast, I'll boast in the Lord Jesus Christ. But
yeah.
I did my nursing with passion. And I think I had a blessing from it. Yeah.
Mm. And I looked at your Facebook picture, your WhatsApp picture,
Yeah.
and you've got a different picture, and it looks like it's a picture of in uniform, but it's not nursing uniform. What is that uniform that that I can see?
Well, when I finished my nursing, I did midwifery and I trained in public health nursing. And then I joined the Ghanaian army and I rose to the rank of a major.
Wow. Okay, that's a big thing, isn't it? And that's the picture that I can see on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Irene, when did you move into the UK?
1991, March 1991. Yeah.
And you have children over here,
The
grandchildren?
children, yeah, 4 children, 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. Yeah. We all moved in here. Yes.
And you've had lots of roles at Muswell Hill. Currently, you're the 9 o'clock communion steward. But how long have you been at Muswell Hill for, Irene?
Since 1991. When we moved into Muswell Hill after, packing our things and that, we went one evening looking for church, going around Muswell Hill looking for Methodist church. And then when we were directed, they have finished Shirley and the Richard Clutterbuck and the council members. They have finished meeting, and so I met them at the car park, and I introduced myself to them. And so from that time, we started coming to the church, and it was in the middle of 1991. Yeah.
That's wonderful, and ever since you've been coming faithfully, until unless you're in Ghana,
yes,
and then obviously you'll be in your church in Ghana. Methodism's big, isn't it, Irene? In Ghana,
yes, it is really, and my father was a Presbyterian, but my mom was a Methodist, a staunch Methodist. And so we were all Methodists. All the children followed my mom to Methodist church. And so my dad, after he finished the Presbyterian church, I think they finished a bit earlier than us. And so he would come and wait for my mom and collected for us. And then, would take us home. So I love Methodism in Ghana, actually. And I started as a youth. Yeah, we did evangelism. We went to villages around and did evangelism, and I really enjoyed it, I must say, yes.
That's really good. When I went to Ghana, I went to Calvary Methodist Church, and yeah, it was big. And they have 2 services. They have I think it's the early one in Ghanaian, and then they one in their dialect, and then one in English in about 11 o'clock. But there was about 200, 300 people there. For those who don't know about Methodism in Ghana, Irene, tell us a bit about Methodism in Ghana. How big's the congregations in Ghana?
Well, it was when Kumasi was a very big congregation, and I must say, it might be about 600 people in church at a time. It was a story building. The ground level will be filled up. The top, will be filled up. And when I came to Accra, I did my midwifery in Accra. I started attending Calvary Methodist Church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was also a massive church, a huge church, a very big church. I don't want to commit myself and, talk about numbers, but it was always packed. Always packed. And I really, really enjoyed it until I joined the army, and there was the Garrison Methodist Church. And I joined that women fellowship and all that, and, Bible reading, counseling, things. And that I was a great participant in that church, yes.
That's really good.
And I retired early and joined my husband, yeah.
That's fantastic stories. It's good that we get to know our members, and Black History Month allows us to celebrate who we have in our congregations.
Mm.
Shows it echoes equality, diversity, and inclusion.
Mhm.
I wondered, Irene, looking at equality, diversity, and inclusion,
Mhm.
what would you like to see at Muswell Hill Methodist Church? Because when we talk about welcoming and inclusion, a lot of churches get really defensive.
Mhm.
They fail to see what is in front of them. And I wondered, Irene, for equality, diversity, and inclusion, what would you like to see at Muswell Hill Methodist Church?
Well, I think now this is really, really much better, much relaxed and cordial, and I love it, I must say. But we still need people, and I think demographically in the area of young people and young families, I think there's a gap, and I think we need to work on that area.
Mm.
You know, I think there has to be an outreach. Welcoming them is the most important thing, because that is how we can retain them in the church. You know, it doesn't take much when you see people, especially the young people. Maybe I was later on in my career, I was counseling young people who had problems with the police, and that was part of my work, but I really enjoyed it.
Mm.
Because my manager called me and she said, if I had to employ somebody, it would be a full time. They might not do it well, but I know you just um, uh, sacrifice 2 hours and do it.
Mm.
And I did it. Of course, he added a bit of money to my salary, but I really enjoyed it. It was hard, but I really enjoyed it.
Mm.
Yeah. And so I think that area we need to develop it. And it's just a simple smile.
Yeah.
And how are you? How's your name? If it's the first time the person has come, how is your name? And all that. If they continue coming, what do you do? And that's it.
Mm.
Now, young people, if you try to dive into their private life, I think is something that deter them from from coming from being part of you.
Mm.
That's how I think I'll put it. And so like sensitive questions, you don't need to ask them.
Mm.
And to be frank, I will be a bit frank here. Um, some of them have grown in from the church, and they now out. They've grown. They're working. Okay, so they want to come, but they don't want to come in to be bombarded with questions. You will not ask them, "Oh, what do you do? How is work weather?" But when are you going to get married? Of course, it's not in the market. Otherwise, mothers will be purchasing for them, you
Yeah.
know. And it's that area is quite a sensitive issue. And you know, nowadays young people, they want to develop their profession, their security. You know, they want to develop that before they think even about anyway. But that's what maybe because of my experience, I told my children, you need to achieve and then secure your profession. And then if someone comes early, fine.
Mm.
But your priority is to secure a future for yourself.
Mm.
You see, because that is what really helped me through here when I was left here with 4 children. You see, and God, of course, mostly God. Yes. And so simple question, how are you? And there's just a smile.
Mm.
And I must say, I shouldn't be mentioning names, but to be frank, um, Auntie Theo, Azra, and Debbie.
Mm.
When she sees that, she asks them, "How is work? You do?" When they say it, you do well. That's the young children. They need encouragement. Even adults, we need encouragement.
Mm.
How much more young people? And this country is not a country to live in. And so it's quite, I think it's quite a sensitive issue, and people shouldn't be talking about them. If there's going to be wedding bells, you hear it announced in the church. So have patience and don't bombard them. Yes. Because we as mothers, we're not pushing them. We want them to take their time, find somebody, and then, settle down. But yeah. So this is what I would say, that we need to develop the area of young people and young families to make them, to include them, to make them comfortable when they come, to make it an enjoyable place. Because they're not like us adults. When we are going through something, we say, okay, it doesn't matter, I'll go. It doesn't matter, I'm going to serve God. There are so many churches now. Yes. And especially charismatic church, they are some may be, I tell you, some they have Christ as the foundation, some they are not. And so we don't want them to go astray. And this Methodism needs to build on how to develop young children, young people in the church. We have to maintain them, to retain them, and for them to grow up and learn, and then become us in future. You see what I mean? Yeah. So that's really a problem of mine, and I have been putting it into prayers that if we are no more, where would this church be?
Yeah.
I think we have to ask ourselves, where would they be? So when they come, just make them comfortable. Don't bombard them with marriages and when are you going. But you can just, have you, or you can ask me, or their mothers, their parents, have they met somebody, or in a nice way. But if you do it in a humiliating way, I think it's a way of sending that young person out of the church. And I must say, it's not nice.
Thank you, Irene. It's been really good to to hear more about your story and your trip for Muswell Hill. And thank you for joining us. It's been great to hear your story and continue to celebrate Black History Month within Muswell Hill Methodist Church, as we learn from history that we can shape the future.
Yes.
For joining me.
I would really be happy to see a lot of young people in the church, but when they come, they have to be welcomed. The welcoming is much important. A smile. How are you? What's your name? If the person has got a sensitive issue and he wants to speak to somebody about it, he himself or she or he himself will approach you. And that sometimes they beat about the bush. But as an adult and experienced people, we can pinpoint what they are saying, and in a jovial manner and things, they will reveal things to you. I don't know whether because it was my profession and things and that, because sometimes they will come, they will start with something else. I say, hey, because of this or that thing. They say, how did you know? And it surprises them. So let them come to you with their problem. Let them trust you. Trust you that you are a favorable ground to plant something. You see, that's what how I want Muswell Hill to be, because we need to sustain that church, and it's young people that will take our place when we are no more, and they need to be accepted and welcomed and maintained in that church. Yes.
I think that as well, Irene, doesn't it, of doing things in our churches for the generation to come, doing stuff in our churches that maybe we don't feel comfortable with. Also, doing stuff that will help the people, and for some of us, it's letting go of things for the sake of it, isn't
it? Yes, letting go of things. Letting go of things, because sometimes, well, the world is growing, and it's a whole new world, and we should use I will say, tactics. You know,
Yeah.
if things change, you try to change, you know, to maintain the dynamics that is going. You shouldn't say this and that and that, and before we used to do that and this. I mean, we need to progress. We need to progress, and the old things should go and new things should come. New way of worshiping Christ should be, yeah. And the new way is love. It's love. I always, when I talk to people, I say, you know, before, well, when I was brought up as a Christian and grew up as a Christian, but one-to-one with Christ is the most important thing, because we are going to be judged according to our performance, what we did in secret and in light. And so I think, so I assessed myself, because before, if you say anything to me and it's not pleasant, I will just answer you back. This time, I will just watch you come to my house and pray, go on my knees. And if you don't stop, I summons you to the judgment throne of God, because I need to have my peace. Because sometimes people target you, whether they don't like you or not. I don't know. It's outside the church, it's inside the church. You saying hi, they're not even looking at you to respond. That one, it doesn't bother me. But to pinpoint me and you know, I just don't want to go into details, but just that I say everybody should go to Galatians 5:22 and learn about the fruit of the Spirit, because that is what makes us. And when I look at my life then and now, because I told God, I said, God, make me what you want me to be. And then that passage came into me and I read it. And what was my shortcoming? When I recite, it's 9 in all. What was my shortcoming? I forget it. And I was, but then I asked God, I said, God, why? That's my shortcoming. And I'm trying to memorize it to shape my life. And I keep forgetting. My brain is in your hands. And so help me. I cannot do it on my own. But I see that now people see me and they highlight on what I lacked before as my strength. And so I've seen that maybe God has done it for me. God has done it for me, because when I was here with that small children, and my mom told me, my mom was my friend, said, you know, it's not human beings who looks after human beings, it's God who looks after human beings. Commit yourself to God, and he will see you through.
Brilliant.
Yes. And you know, when I started, are you going to ask me about my story later? I'm just
yeah.
I'm just drinking the soup before the fufu, as the Ghanaian adage goes. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave that and maybe I'll highlight on that. Yeah.
Thank you, Irene. It's been wonderful to have you with us, and we look forward to hearing more about you in the future. But thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.